Welcome to Cheater Confessions. Let's get started with today's story. My name is Dale Barrett, and for most of my adult life, I thought I understood what a stable marriage looked like. Louise and I had been together 12 years. We didn't have kids, but we built a quiet routine that felt predictable in a good way. Nothing dramatic, nothing wild, just a home with two people who knew each other's habits. Or at least, that's what I believed. Things shifted slowly after Louise changed jobs. She joined a marketing firm with a younger, loud team that liked going out after work. At first, I didn't think anything of it. Everyone needs friends, and I wasn't the type to hold anyone back. But small things started catching my attention. New clothes, longer nights out, her phone glued to her hand like it was part of her skin. One night, she walked in after team drinks, her hair still done, cheeks slightly flushed. I glanced at her hand out of habit and noticed the empty spot on her finger. "Forgot your ring?" I asked, keeping my tone light. Louise looked at her hand like she hadn't even realized it. Then she laughed. "Relax, Dale. It's just a piece of metal." That wasn't how she used to talk about it. When I proposed, she cried for 5 minutes straight. She called the ring the most meaningful thing I'll ever wear. But now, just a piece of metal. She went into the kitchen, humming like nothing happened. I didn't push. I didn't argue. I didn't ask why she started leaving the ring on the dresser more often than not. I told myself that marriages go through phases. People change. Maybe she was trying to reinvent herself in this new job. Maybe it was harmless. Still, something felt different. The kind of difference you can't name, but you feel in the room the moment someone walks in. Distance disguised as confidence. I didn't know it yet, but the ring was the first warning. The first quiet signal that the marriage I thought was unshakable was already shifting under my feet. About 2 weeks after that first missing ring moment, Louise told me she had a coworker's birthday dinner. A simple night out, she said. I was sitting on the edge of the bed while she got ready in front of the mirror. She pulled out a tight navy dress I hadn't seen in years, not since a vacation we took long before life got complicated. Her hair was curled, makeup sharper than usual. She looked good. That wasn't the issue. It was the energy behind it. Excited, almost giddy, not the usual tired after work version of her. When she turned to grab her purse, I noticed her hand again. No ring. "Going without it?" I asked. Same calm tone, no accusation. She paused, looked at me through the mirror, and smiled the kind of smile people give right before saying something reckless. "I'm single tonight," she said casually, like she was announcing the weather. I waited for the laugh, the punchline, the playful nudge she used to give me. Nothing. "Louise," I said, "why would you say that?" She rolled her eyes. "Don't start. It's a joke. You take everything too seriously." "Doesn't sound like a joke." "Well, it is. So relax." She stepped into her heels and brushed past me. Around midnight, I texted her, "Let me know when you're heading home." No reply. She walked in at 1:47 a.m. I remember the exact time because I'd been staring at the clock, not worried, just wide awake. She reeked of a bar, but underneath the alcohol was something else. A cologne I didn't own. "You're late?" I said quietly. She tossed her purse onto the couch. "You staying up just to interrogate me?" I asked if you were safe. "Well, I'm home. Happy?" Her heels clacked angrily on the floor as she headed to the bedroom. "You're suffocating, Dale. Seriously." I didn't answer. The way she said, "single tonight," didn't leave my mind. The way she came home didn't match her story. Something wasn't right, and pretending it wasn't going to fix anything. After that night, things didn't calm down. If anything, the shift in Louise became clearer, like someone slowly turning up a dimmer switch. She started working late twice a week, then 3 times, then almost every other night. And every time she came home, she acted annoyed that I was even awake. Her phone was the biggest change. She used to leave it anywhere, the kitchen counter, the couch, even in the car. Now it never left her pocket. Face down on the table, notifications off, new lock screen, new password. One evening, her younger sister Emma stopped by to return a jacket Louise had lent her. We talked in the hallway while Louise was still getting ready for another team outing. Emma glanced toward the bedroom and lowered her voice. "Louise talks nonstop about this guy at her job. William," she said. "They're always paired together on campaigns." I kept my expression neutral. "William?" "Yeah," she shrugged. "She says he's hilarious." Kind of full of himself, though. I thanked her, and she left a minute later. When Louise came out, dressed in a short black skirt I'd never seen, I asked lightly, "Is William going too?" She froze for half a second, enough to confirm something. "Why are you bringing up random names?" she snapped. "Are you keeping tabs on me now?" "You talk about him at home," I said. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't accuse her. I just watched her face. She grabbed her purse. "Unbelievable. I'm going out. Don't wait up." After the door closed, I sat down at the kitchen table and opened my planner. Not because I was paranoid, because I was done guessing. I wrote down the date, time she left, reason she gave, and the time she returned. This wasn't spying. This was clarity. I didn't confront her. I didn't follow her. I didn't demand answers. I only observed. I wasn't angry, not yet, but I was no longer blind. 2 Fridays later, Louise told me she had a client dinner downtown. Her tone was smooth, confident, like someone who'd repeated the script enough times to believe it herself. She stood near the door, adjusting her earrings. No ring, new heels, hair professionally styled, not her usual quick curl before work. "I'll probably be late," she said. "Don't wait up." I nodded. "Drive safe." She seemed almost disappointed I didn't question her. Then she left. I stayed home for about 20 minutes, long enough for her to get across town. Then I grabbed my keys and drove to the restaurant she'd mentioned. My car was parked behind a row of shrubs. I didn't feel nervous, not shocked, just steady, like I already knew what I was about to see. At 8:42 p.m., Louise walked out. She wasn't alone. William was beside her, laughing loudly at something she said. She touched his arm when she spoke, the way she used to touch mine years ago. His hand rested on the small of her back like he owned the spot. They stood under the streetlight, talking too closely for colleagues. My chest didn't drop. My pulse didn't jump. Because that was the moment I realized the truth had been chasing me for weeks. And now it finally caught up. They started walking down the street toward a small boutique hotel. I didn't follow them inside. I didn't want the details. I had everything I needed. I drove home, sat at the kitchen table, and opened my laptop. Bank statements, phone records, receipts I'd already noticed, the notes I'd been keeping. Then I made one more decision. I called a divorce attorney. When the receptionist asked what the consultation was regarding, I said calmly, "My wife told me she was single. I'd like to help her live that way." The attorney I met with the next morning was a straightforward man named Peter Lawson. No sugarcoating, no dramatic pauses. Exactly what I needed. I laid everything out. The missing ring, the late nights, the lies, the hotel. Peter listened without interrupting, then said, "You're calm. That's good. Calm men make clean exits." That line stuck with me. We went through every detail of what would happen next. Separate my income. Document everything. Secure important accounts. Prepare the divorce petition quietly. By the time I left his office, I had a plan. A simple one. Move in silence. That week, Louise acted like nothing had shifted. She hummed around the house, scrolled on her phone, and left it face down every time I entered a room. She'd laugh at messages I never saw, then tell me she was exhausted when I asked about her day. I didn't press. I didn't correct her stories. I just moved. My salary went into a new account with only my name on it. Our joint credit card was replaced with a limited access version. One evening, as she was putting on makeup for a co-worker's farewell party, her phone lit up. The name on the screen was William. I didn't react. She grabbed the phone so fast that she dropped a brush. "I'll text you later," she snapped, as if I had said something. "God, you're always looking over my shoulder." I hadn't moved an inch. 2 days later, she came into the kitchen with her suitcase half-zipped. "I'm going away for the weekend," she said. "Girls' trip to the coast. I need a break." I nodded. "Hope it helps." She blinked, surprised I didn't question her. Then she smiled. The kind of smile people give when they think they're getting away with something. By the time she walked out the door, I already knew she'd be with William. I'd seen the message earlier when her phone lit up again. "Hotel booked. Can't wait." While she was gone, I finished what needed finishing. Paperwork, accounts. My belongings were sorted and reduced to what I truly cared about. No anger, no chaos, just preparation. She said she wanted space. I decided to give her something better: consequences. Louise came back from her girls' trip on a Monday morning. I was sitting at the kitchen table when I heard her keys hit the counter. She walked in wearing sunglasses. Her hair was messy from rushing, and she smelled faintly of a hotel air freshener mixed with the perfume she always wore when she wanted to impress someone. "Hey," she said casually, kicking off her shoes. "You could have texted to check if I got back safe." I looked up from my plate. "You said you were single. I figured you didn't need updates from me." Her sunglasses came off slowly. "What's that supposed to mean?" "It means," I said calmly, "I treated you the way you said you were." She stepped closer, her expression twisting. "Dale, don't start with your drama." "Not drama," I said, sliding a folder across the table. "Clarity." She opened it, expecting bills or something trivial. Instead, she froze. Inside was everything: dates, times, the attorney's paperwork. Her hand trembled as she flipped through each page. You followed me?" I shook my head. "No. You made it easy. You told me where you'd be. You told me you were single. I believed you." Her face turned red. "This is insane. You're seriously ending our marriage over a stupid misunderstanding?" "Misunderstanding?" I asked. "You removed your ring before walking into a hotel with William." She dropped the folder on the table, her voice cracking. "Dale, please. I don't know what you think you saw, but—" "I know what I saw," I cut in, "and I know what I didn't see. I didn't see a wife. I saw someone practicing a new life." She tried another angle. "We can fix this. Just talk to me." "We are talking," I said. "And here's the truth. You already left. I'm just helping you make it official." I slid the divorce papers toward her. The room went silent. "Sign them when you're ready," I said, standing up. "You wanted freedom. Now you have it." She stared at the envelope, stunned, like she never expected the man she pushed away to actually walk out. Louise didn't sign the papers that day. She packed a few bags, slammed the front door, and left without saying where she was going. I didn't chase her. The point of clarity is knowing what deserves pursuit, and what doesn't. She stayed with her sister Emma for a week. Emma called me once. "I'm not taking sides," she said quietly. "But Louise, she's not handling this well." I didn't ask for details, but Emma gave them anyway. "She cries, then she yells, then she says none of this is her fault. She keeps blaming you for overreacting. She won't admit anything about William." I thanked her for the update. That was all. A few days later, Louise moved into an apartment near the city. Our divorce process began immediately. Peter filed the petition, and Louise was served at work. My phone buzzed minutes later. "You blindsided me. How could you do that at my office?" I didn't reply. She tried again later that night. "We can talk. We can fix this. Just stop all this legal stuff." Still nothing from me. Reality didn't hit her until the paperwork details came in. The house was being sold. No spousal support. Each person is responsible for their own debts. Separation of accounts is formally recognized. Suddenly, her single life became expensive. Emma told me Louise started fighting with William almost daily. He didn't want responsibility. He didn't want a real commitment. He liked the thrill, not the aftermath. 2 weeks in, he stopped meeting her. Louise tried reaching out. "You don't have to ignore me. Please, I'm not okay." I read it, then locked my phone. Not to punish her, but because I wasn't her safety net anymore. Actions have prices. She had chosen hers long before I confronted her. I spent those weeks focusing on moving out of the house, packing my things into a small rental. The place was simple, but honest. Nothing reminded me of lies. The freedom she chased was now hers, and the peace I needed was finally mine. 3 months later, life settled into something steady. I woke up early, ran along the river, cooked my own meals, and kept the apartment uncluttered. Calm days, predictable nights, nothing dramatic, and for the first time in years, that felt good. People talk about heartbreak like it arrives in one heavy blow. Mine didn't. It faded the way fog lifts, slowly, until one morning you realize you can finally see the road again. The divorce was finalized 3 months after Louise finally signed. There was no dramatic courtroom scene, no screaming, just a judge confirming what both of us already knew. The marriage was done. Louise didn't show up in person. She called the clerk afterward and asked them to send her the stamped copy. That's the kind of courage betrayal leaves behind. Loud at first, quiet when it counts. One evening I got a long message from her, the kind that takes more than one screen to read. I don't know if you'll answer, but I'm sorry. William left. I thought I knew what I wanted. I didn't. I ruined everything. Maybe we could talk? You were always the one who cared about me. I didn't see it then. I see it now. I sat on my couch for a minute, reading the words twice. Not out of confusion, but out of recognition. This was the same pattern I'd lived with for years. Louise realizing the value of something only when she'd already thrown it away. I typed slowly, thinking through each line. You told me you were single. Now I am too. That's the closure. I hit send. Then I blocked the number. It wasn't anger. It wasn't revenge. It was simply the truth. The same truth she had spoken boldly that night before walking out without her ring. Freedom had a price for both of us. She paid hers in consequences. I paid mine in peace. I didn't lose a wife. I ended a performance. And in its place, I finally found myself again. Thank you for watching.